Howdy, my name is Ana Sanchez, and I'm a junior kinesiology major from San Juan, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley.
Awesome. So what made you decide to go to college?
So during obviously my childhood, being a Hispanic, daughter of two immigrants, they always they they always emphasized education as one of the biggest key to success, and so that for me was one of the biggest things for being able to make a name for myself and being able to decide what I do, where I can go, being low income, a low socioeconomic status, I have the ability to choose where I because you can't choose where you start from, but you can choose where you go from there. And so for me, it was just being able to do whatever I want, without having to depend on anybody else, and just kind of making my own journey and just doing whatever I feel is best for me.
Perfect. So what was the application process like?
So the application process was a little bit scary because it's just kind of the first time that I had to put myself forward and just kind of write about myself first of all. And I don't really like talking about myself. And the thing is, doing those applications, you don't really have help from your parents, or you can't really ask an older siblings, because first gen just you're the first person to go to college, and it's just that process by yourself is just kind of a little bit overwhelming, along with FAFSA and things like that. It's just kind of what am I even doing? I know for even FAFSA is just am I committing fraud? And it's just but basically the application process was a lot of things that I had to learn along the way, and just kind of make sure that I am doing the best that I can without having like knowledge from other people. And so for me, just writing those essays and things like that, it's just kind of oh gosh, I just hope I get in. Let's hope I do something right there.
So you said that there wasn't a lot of help available. Was there any help that you did receive?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that actually helped me, one of the biggest resources, was my mentor in high school. He started a nonprofit kind of resource for high school juniors and seniors, or people who along the valley. And I think he actually extended it to people outside of the valley, that can now use that as a resource to help them with writing college essays, applications. He went to Princeton, and he saw that we lacked a lot of those resources, so he decided to come back and help the community, in terms of applications and things like that. Because I know in the valley, we tend to just kind of be in this little bubble, because we're predominantly Hispanic, and so we don't really have diversity there. It's just we're so close to the border that we're all pretty much the same, and we can always push ourselves to go beyond our horizons. And just for that, he helped me have the confidence to apply to a lot of the scholarships that I didn't think I would receive. And he also pushed us to believe in ourselves, to just apply anyways, because having this mentality where you're okay, I don't want to apply because I feel I won't get in, kind of that. It's he helped me change my mindset to even if I don't get in, it's okay, and we just keep going. So he was one of the biggest things that helped me, just editing my essays, things like that. Is just I know that he was such a big um, element to helping me apply to those colleges.
So tell me about the day you got your acceptance letter.
So that day I was really, really happy. I remember, because I don't really tend to believe in myself, especially back then, I was so young. And so having that acceptance letter is just kind of knowing that I did something right, and just knowing that I belong somewhere. And truthfully, I thought that I was probably going to stay in the valley, and so having that acceptance letter was kind of oh my god, I can actually do this. And so that was like one of the biggest things for me. And like also like the financial aid package, I received a lot of scholarships, and actually like for us like low income students, first gen, I mean, we might be able to get in, but like the biggest like deterrent to like actually going to that school that we want to go to is the money. And so knowing that I got in and that I had the ability to actually pursue that degree without having that like economic like pressure, was one of the best things ever. And also like being an Aggie is like like so I don't know. I can't explain it, but yeah, it's awesome.
So how was your first day on campus?
So my first day on campus was actually at my NSC. I had never visited the university before, and so I was pretty much scared. I traveled, I'm like 6 hours away, 7 hours ish with like stops. And so being there, like at my NSC, I didn't really know what to expect. And so that was the first time I experienced culture shock. And for me, like it was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm in a different place. Like I'm actually going here. And so it was kind of like a mix of like anxiety and like happiness and like, I don't know, like just so many different emotions that like kind of like overflowed ish. So like during my NSC, like I got to see the university, and also like if we were lost, like what I really liked about the university was like the students were so welcoming. So if I had any questions, or like if I was lost, or like if I needed like any advice on like where to go eat or things like that, like the students were so helpful, and like it just made me feel like I was at home.
So what's your major and why did you choose it?
So I'm a kinesiology major, and I also added a minor in psychology. And I chose kinesiology because in high school I was an athlete, and I was always like super athletic. And I noticed that like in the valley, again, like we are known for being like the most like obese like city. And so that to me like just kind of like spoke like to me like where we have so many people who are sedentary, and we lack exercise in our diet, nutrition, and things like that. And so I wanted to get an education where I could help with that, because also with our culture we tend to eat a lot of like things high in like grease and like calories and things like that. And so I knew that I wanted to incorporate my love for like exercise and physical activity to help others in my community have a like a healthier life. And so when I came here, I chose kines because it like was incorporating like health, fitness, and like nutrition all together. And the minor in psychology is like helping me like also incorporate the aspect of like mental health, because that's one of the biggest things that like we also lack because we have a stigma around it. And so for me, like having this degree allows me to like help other people have like better wellness in their life. And like if we do have like predisposed like diabetes or like high cholesterol, things like that, it helps like control that. And that's for me like super important, because I always want my community to be healthy and just be able to do the best that they can.
Perfect. So what is it like to be a first generation student?
So being first gen means so many things, and I think that's one of the best, like most special things that I like am able to like I guess affiliate myself with, because like first gen can mean like, okay, first of all, like being the first in your family to go to college. And to me, like it has like a special place in my heart, because in my family, like I have a family of 10, and my older siblings actually try to go to college back home, but they all eventually like dropped out because of the lack of resources and things like that. And so I made it a goal for myself to just kind of like go to college and like get that degree, especially coming to A&M. Like I know it's like such a prestigious university, and like it just kind of like gives me that like pressure but yet like kind of like being proud to be first gen. But it also does mean that we do go through different like obstacles in terms of like feeling that pressure, like do we actually belong here, like am I doing things right? Like, I'm failing. Like, what do I do? Like, we have so many questions that, like, and we have resources that we, like, have here in the university, and we all, like, lack that kind of knowledge. And that for me is like even though first gen is something to be proud of, it's like something that we also can all relate to because we face so many things that are so similar, and like just knowing that other people also go through it kind of makes you feel better because you have like this community that you can also like reside with, and they're always there to help you. So overall, like first gen to me, like just means like, being proud of where you come from and like where you're starting, but like also like acknowledging that we have these obstacles, but yet like we are here to succeed, and like we're gonna get through it.
So tell me about your happiest memory as an Aggie and your toughest moment.
So we're gonna go with the toughest first. Um, my toughest moment, I think, was my sophomore year when my mental health was just kind of like deteriorating, and unfortunately like I became like suicidal, and like I just was like giving up on everything. I was deciding whether or not I was going to like drop out. At that point, like I was just like, oh, like I don't want to fail my family, but I also like had such terrible mental health that because I was not taking care of myself like properly and the way that I needed to be healthy. And so for me, like that was one of the like hardest things for myself to like just acknowledge that I needed help first of all, and like actually go and ask for that help that I needed. Um, because it just made me feel like I did not belong here, and when in reality, like I do. And the thing is, like, that was just so hard because it's just kind of like battling with like my inner like emotions and knowing that I belong here and just knowing that I have a place. So my mentor that I have now, actually Mr. O'Neill, he's a mentor for first gen students. He became like one of the biggest reasons why I actually ended up staying and like keep fighting because he made me like believe again that I belong here and that I have a place here. And yeah, like